they'll tough it out.
And we get a punch and people think that we're down or we're losing confidence or there's injuries or whatever, tiredness, we react and we normally react in a good way and go on a decent run.
Alexander Isak's header gave Newcastle a 1-0 win over Arsenal in the early kick-off. Mikel Arteta's side now fourth, 7 points off the pace. Forest moved above them into third with a comfortable 3-0 win against West Ham. A big result for Nuno.
We are delighted with the performance that we had today. I think we managed really well the game since the beginning, controlling the danger of West Ham and being positive going forward.
Jordan Ayew scored a stoppage-time equaliser for Leicester in the 1-1 draw at Ipswich, who had Calvin Phillips sent off. Southampton are off the bottom with their 1-0 victory over Everton, their first 3 points of the season. Wolves are now bottom after this evening's 2-2 draw with Palace. Celtic ended Aberdeen's unbeaten domestic record by thrashing them 6-0 in their Scottish League Cup semi-final. Seventh-tier Harborough are into the second round of the FA Cup for the first time. Non-league Wealdstone, Oldham and Dagenham are also through. In rugby's autumn internationals, late heartbreak for England at Twickenham, losing to the All Blacks 24-22. Scotland beat Fiji 57-17 at Murrayfield. And it looks like an exciting finish in England's second one-day international against the West Indies. Can England do it? Nick Ellaby.
Mark, all of a sudden, yes, they can. Chasing 329. England need 29 off 27 balls to win this ODI and save the series. Sam Curran just gone for 52, but Liam Livingston's taken a Jaden Seals over for 26, just past his 100 as well. Dan Mosley the next man in. England need 29 off the last 27 balls, 5 wickets in hand. Live commentary continues over on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
The King and Queen say they're utterly heartbroken at the destruction and devastation caused by flash floods in eastern Spain. And police investigating historical sex offence allegations against Russell Brand are understood to have sent the Crown Prosecution Service a file of evidence.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. We're focused on the road ahead with over 400 EV trained centres. Find your local EV trained centre at quickfit.com so you can drive away happy every time.
Mostly cloudy through Sunday, some drizzle, but most places staying dry.
Total Knockout Radio. Fight Night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
This is it. The time has come.
Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
He's put it down.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Here we go. Good evening. You're listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Ade Oladipo alongside Adam Smith, former head of boxing at Sky Sports. I know I always say this, but it is a busy show today. Former WBO heavyweight champion Joseph Parker is going to join us in a few minutes as he guns for a world title shot against Daniel Dubois. We are going to hear from Daniel Dubois as well. He's welcomed all comers and all challengers for his IBF heavyweight title. Former world title challenger Dillian Whyte will come on and tell us what next for him. Haven't seen him in the ring since he fought Christian Hamer way back in March. Big fight for cruiserweight Chev Clarke. He will join us in studio, as will Tunde Ajayi, trainer and manager of Anthony Yarde. It was the 50th year anniversary of the biggest fight in history this week, Rumble in the Jungle. Ali versus Foreman. We're going to look back on that incredible night and discuss some of the big events myself and Adam have been to as well. That could take a couple of hours. Some MMA chat as well with Vanessa D'Ambrosio, and so much more coming your way on Fight Night this evening. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. By the way, some cracking fights today, by the way. There's one going on right now, Echo Usman versus Ben Vaughan, and we're going to keep you updated with Liam Davis versus Shabaz Masoud as well. Adam Smith in the building. Adam, this is my first time working with you as well. I just realised this.
I'm really excited. And you're a big Liverpool fan. What a day for us.
It's incredible, right? I mean, should we just scrap the boxing and talk football?
100%.
I can easily do this. Easily do this. All
What
done.
a day. City going, Arsenal going.
Incredible, isn't it?
It's fantastic. My house was absolutely buzzing earlier.
Honestly, it was fantastic. I mean, as you are as well. I mean, get your texts coming in. For Adam Smith, text us 81080, and I promise to read out some of the best ones. You can give us a call as well, 03717 223344. You are, when I think of you in your position, obviously head of Sky Sports Boxing for so many years, but I just think of you as the voice of boxing in this country as well. And I think it's fantastic that we get to hear your voice still and again and again and again, and hopefully for many, 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 many years. Obviously, you were away from the sport for just over a year or so. It must feel good to kind of be back into it again.
It's fabulous to be back, and boxing just grips you, doesn't it? It has for me since I was a little boy, and I've just been honoured and privileged to have worked with some of the great fighters of our time, travelling the world and getting to know them, being in their training camps and in their lives, and I've just got respect for every single fighter that's ever got into a ring, and it's terrific just to be back around the sport that I love. Yes, more on the periphery now, but really excited to be at shows again and being in here at talkSPORT, which I love, and helping mentoring some fighters, managing some with Summit Sports, and working with GBM, the young promotional team that's really up and coming. Izzy Asif, we've got a big show coming up in December, and had a good year with them. So really enjoying things, and it was a tough year. Bladder cancer was a horrible disease, a horrible illness, and I'm very lucky to be here. My doctors were fantastic. It was many, many months of recuperation, but I was down here actually yesterday at a guy's hospital, and I got the all clear in my 6-month checkup. So that's really good. Life's tough now. I've got a stoma. It's harder, but I've got a beautiful family at home, and I'm a very lucky boy. And it's really lovely to be back around the sport that, I think I've given my life to in a way. Yes, on the broadcasting side, not in the ring, but I've lived and breathed it 24/7 for so long, and it's just nice to be back and involved.
Yeah, I see you at all the shows, and not just at the shows. I see you at the weigh-ins, I see you at the press conferences. You are 100% around it now. You were at the AJ Dubois fight as well, Wembley. Fantastic moment for British boxing, I thought. How much has Daniel surprised you? Or has he surprised you? I mean, some people were like, we knew this was coming. Some people were like, they can't believe what's happening. Where do you stand with him?
I'm really proud of him. I was there back in Sheffield when AJ and Daniel sparred together.
You saw it.
I did, one of the sessions, and AJ and I laughed about it and the week, actually, and he said, I didn't really go down, did I? And it was... Daniel was always going to be here, big puncher, good amateur himself, and he's really learnt the hard way in many ways. And Frank Warren has stuck by Daniel. He's gone through his hardship. He's gone through the difficulties after Joe Joyce and everybody questioning him, and again a little bit after the Usyk fight too. But what he's done since, I mean, the big display against Jarrell Miller in front of Turkey, then Filip Hrgović against the odds, and just taking the unbeaten scalp of a guy like Hrgović set him up to deal with AJ. And I think with Daniel, it's been a mental battle as well over the years, getting the confidence installed in him. He's got his dad around him, but I think the fit with Don Charles is particularly good. I think Don is such a good trainer, both mentally and physically, and I think he's got into Daniel, and he's made Daniel believe. He can't go out and do the fighting for him, but I just thought at Wembley I was surprised. I thought AJ would win by knockout before. I thought Daniel had a live chance, but I thought, as most did, I thought Anthony would come through it. But I was actually up in the media section for it, and sitting next to one of the camera guys I'm working with, and he said when Daniel walked into the ring, he said, I just like the look of him. He looks really good. And I just thought it was a ruthless display from start to finish. He showed Anthony no respect. He went out there, he got his jab going, his feet were fantastic, and he never really let Joshua into the fight.
All right, let's hear from the IBF heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Dubois. He spoke to Jim White, and Jim asked him, who next?
It will be everyone. The decision by, my dad, the team, Frank Warren, and finally for me to get in there and do the business. But yeah, we'll all sit down and decide what route is the best, what's next. I can't wait for it though. I'm really excited. Whoever I've got to, destroy and take out of there, I'll do it. I'm on form now, and my confidence and everything is just right up there. I'm feeling on top of the world. So yeah, whoever I've got to destroy and, take out their misery, we'll do it.
Sounds like a new man. There's Daniel Dubois. And look, who next? I think in terms of order, I think the man next should be the former WBO heavyweight champion from New Zealand. That man is Joseph Parker, and he joins us now. Joseph, talk to me. Tell me that discussions have begun between your team and Daniel Dubois' team, please?
You know what? I have been very vocal about wanting to fight Daniel Dubois. I think, like Adam said, he's done exceptionally well with Don Charles and his dad and his team. He's looked great with the Miller fight, Herkovich fight. He's looked good against Joshua, getting that devastating knockout. But there's a difference with me and all those other fighters. I'm fresh, I'm hungry, and I'm ready to go. And I've been waiting since March for a big fight. Let's get it on now.
Yeah, and not only been waiting, fully deserving as well. I mean, that win against Wilder, when, let's be honest, everyone had already almost booked their plane seats for Wilder versus AJ. And then that win against Zhang, and I think Zhang's a top 5, top 6 heavyweight. So it's not as though you're asking and you don't deserve. You're asking because you do deserve. Look, Frank wants him out February 22nd, so a decision needs to be made now. Has there been any conversation whatsoever from their team about you potentially fighting February 22nd against Daniel?
I feel like they've been they're sort of asking around different fighters and different opponents and seeing which one fits. And you see the IBF coming out saying eliminator, fight not eliminator. So there are a few things to be able to, a few hurdles they have to jump through to try and make this fight happen. But I feel like it can happen, and I want it to happen. But hopefully everyone can come together and make this fight happen.
Joseph, I love the way you're talking with that absolute passion. When I saw you last week at the Jack Catterall fight, I gave you a hug, and I couldn't believe how big you've become. That tells me that you want these big boys. You want the big fights. And will it be Dubois, or if not Dubois, who is next?
Anyone and everyone. It would be awesome to be Dubois. Now I live the life. I love this game. I love it so much that I live the life every day. Day in and day out, eating, training, sleeping, and doing that repeat and repeat and repeat. When I fought Wilder, my level of fighting and skills were here and fitness, and then Zhang was a bit more. Now I'm better than that. So all I need is the opportunity and someone to put in front of me like Dubois, so I can show what I can do in the ring. And I feel like I have improved big time.
Is it annoying, though, the waiting, Joseph? Because let's be honest, the last 15 months you've been very busy. And I think that's the reason why you've shown this improvement, because you're out quite a lot. And now there's been this big pause. And I thought there potentially could be room for you on the Fury-Usyk card. And when I didn't see your name in that, I was like, okay, well, what's going on? So surely you just want to have a fight now, just get in the ring and stay active.
Listen, I was mentioned a few dates, October, September, December, and I planned camp all around these dates, and now possibly February. So it's just giving me more time to prepare. I know you can get annoyed but this is the boxing business, and you have to adapt and adjust according to what's in front of you. And at the moment, there's no fight, but I've just been building. Like the shape that I'm going to be in is going to be next level.
I got a sense of that last week, Joe, but why has that happened? Because you got so much momentum, you and Andy, Turkey Al-Sheikh, so impressed with you. We want to see more at this stage of your career.
I need knockout power, and that's what I've been working on. I need to knock some people out, and I need to be more exciting, and that's what I'm going to do.
Wait. So, Joseph, you're being too hard on yourself. Your last 2 fights I thought were very exciting. I thought the Zhang fight was up and down. It was all over the place. I thought that was exciting. And you're in there against big boys. The Wilder fight, you need to put him in his backside as well. But surely you don't think it's a case of you need to entertain us anymore? You've entertained us a lot.
Listen, I'll keep doing what I'm doing, but I've been working on a few things where I think will make a big difference in the fights that I lock in soon and now and in the future. And I just need the opportunity. So if we can make that Dubois fight happen, that'll be amazing, and I'm ready for it 100%.
If not Dubois, and I hope it is, and I think, I've put sort of tweets out and everyone always says it's got to be Joseph Parker. Like, that's the one everyone says they want. But if it's not, is there a plan B? Is it a Caballero? Is it a Zhang rematch? What's the second best option for you right now?
I would like to fight Caballero. If the Dubois fight doesn't happen, I think Caballero will be a great fight. He's showed 2 great wins, and guys that he wasn't supposed to win against, and also he's the IBF, mandatory, or they are fighting for it. So I think, or WBC mandatory. So I think it'll be a great to get that, and then I can have 2 chances of fighting for a belt.
But Joe, doesn't Bacoli come in here, and is that fight not going to happen? It seems to be that you, having had so many fights in such a short space of time and the great performances over Wilder, Zhang, it's almost like they've left you alone a little bit. And I know that you've been working on the weight and working on the power, but we want to see you in 2025 really active. Line them up for us. What's the perfect plan?
I want to be active. I want to have 3-4 fights in a year. I think as a fighter, you should be fighting often, and that's where you gain momentum, and that's where you get more confidence in the ring and what you can do. They've put a hold on that now. So all I have to do is be patient. I can't be forcing anything at the moment. I don't dictate what's going to happen or who I can fight. But what I can, what I can control is how I'm going to be, the shape I'm going to be in, how fit I'm going to be, how strong I'm going to be, and what I'm going to do to these fighters when I fight them.
What's a cut-off date, Joseph, for the Daniel Dubois call? Obviously, you need to do your 10-week fight camp. So when's okay, I need to know by now. Like, what date is that? What month's that? I mean, sorry, what date is that?
Doesn't even matter. I've already been in camp since April. Give me a
He's
date.
ready to go.
Listen, if it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 5 weeks or 6 weeks, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, no, I knew he was going to say that. Before I let you go, Joseph, Fury-Usyk coming up. Obviously, look, you've been in camp with Tyson Fury before. You know exactly what his mindset's like. You know Alexander Usyk well as well. How do you see that one playing out? Do you see a bit of revenge in the sky for Tyson, or do you see Usyk maybe just having got through Tyson once can get through him again?
It's always the fighter that comes out victorious, always comes in with a bit more confidence. And I'm sure Usyk has broken down the fight as well and seeing what he can work on. But Tyson, I've been talking to Tyson, and I really I like where his mindset is at the moment. And I think if you can adjust a few things in camp that you think you can improve on from watching a fight, then I'm sure Tyson can get the job done. And I wish him all the best for this camp and going into this next fight.
Joseph, appreciate you coming on, my brother. Thank you very, very much. And I wish that you get that fight and that call for the February 22nd as well, because I think it's going to be a really, really good fight. And that's the fight that should happen. It should be you versus Daniel Dubois. Anything else I think is wrong, but that's just my take on it as well. Joseph Parker there. I love Joseph.
Brilliant
As
guy.
you can tell.
Great guy. Fantastic for the sport. And he just, in lockdown with the music stuff. Everything.
I mean, you want to tick the box. I mean, he ticks the box in the ring. He ticks the box outside the ring. And he can fight. And I think he's fully deserving of that as well. All right, let's quickly cross over to Nick Ellaby, who's watching the second ODI between England and the West Indies over in Antigua. Nick.
Evening, Ade. Just finished. England have won this second ODI by 5 wickets, chasing down a record score of 329 on this ground, the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua, and keeping this 3-match series with the West Indies alive. Captain for the first time in this series, Liam Livingstone, stood up and was counted. A magnificent 124 off 85 balls. He had spectators ducking for cover at the end, hitting 10 sixes. One ball he lost, smashed out the ground, went bouncing off down the road. But England was sloppy in the field, dropping 4 catches. This is a young team. Selections will continue to be questioned, but coach Marcus Trescothick says they trust their young players. Jofra Archer played his second game in a row, bowled beautifully, should have had more than 1 wicket. But both teams, now off to Barbados for the decider, will have live commentary of Game 3 on Wednesday over on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Cricket YouTube channel.
Cheers, Nick. Thank you very much. By the way, I mean, there is a war, and I mean war going on right now between Ben Vaughan and Echo Usman.
It's a cracker, absolutely, toe-to-toe, the pair of them from the opening round, and we're into the 8th. It's a bloody battle.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, Echo's shorts were white. They're now red. That's how violent this fight is. All right, we spoke to one heavyweight just now in Joseph Parker. We're going to continue the theme with heavyweights, because up next we're going to speak to a man that I've not seen in a ring for far too long, and that man is Mr. Dillian Whyte.
Oi, exclusive FA Cup first round Sunday afternoon football, all right?
That is huge.
Sutton United versus Birmingham. Kick off 12:30 on the other brother from the same mother. talkSPORT 2.
What a winner.
Gotcha.
Dillian, the body snatcher. That's good night. It is all over in the 11th round. Dillian Whyte knocks Derek Chisora out after a thunderous battle.
Who was that voice? Was that you, Adam, on comms there? Was that yourself?
Yeah, I think so. It was. It's always great. The heavyweights, aren't they? Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora. So many great memories.
Them two have got to go one more time, I think.
Oh,
I think them two. I think that
the
first fight they had.
the press conference in itself before Manchester, where the table went over, and then they fought and had an absolutely almighty scrap, didn't they, at the Manchester Arena, and then the rematch where. Yeah, he was laid out eventually, Derek. But yeah, Derek,
you almost felt like
look where Derek's come from then.
I know. And that's the reason. I mean, Derek's just beat Joe Joyce right now. So, I mean, this could be almost the perfect storm and the perfect time to get on again. Let's welcome in Dillian Whyte. Dillian, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How's things, man? Nice to see you guys.
You too, my man.
Hey, Dillian.
Dillian, as soon as I said that, okay, we're getting Dillian on, everyone was like, okay, ask Dillian, when are we going to see him again? It's almost like you're not giving us enough, Dillian. People are desperate now to see you and the violence you bring into the ring a few more times. You must be desperate as well, though, to get back in there.
Yeah, I've been working it. Of course, I want to get back in there. We're working it, obviously. Sometimes boxing's a funny when you feel out of love. Some of it, sometimes, obviously, ups and downs in your career. I've been a little bit down, and I miss it, and I'm trying to get back. So we're trying to fight December. Hopefully, there should be some news coming. Trying to get out at least one more time this year, and then chase some big fights next year. I've been off for a while, so I'm not going to come back thinking I'm going to land straight into big fights right away. But, I've been working it, man.
Dillian, are you feeling the fire again? It's interesting, isn't it? Boxing careers, they have their ups and downs, but you feel now is the right time to come back. It's a magic time, isn't it, for heavyweight boxing?
Yeah, I'm watching some of these fights, and I'm seeing where a lot of these guys is dropping off and where a lot of these guys are picking up, and I'm thinking to myself, I can still beat these guys. All these fights are still winnable. I come back, I have a couple of obviously warm-up fights and a couple of decent fights, and I'm ready for the big fights. Obviously I still feel good. I had a little bit of rest. My body feels good. A couple of aches and niggles I had is gone, and most importantly, fight is back. I really want to fight again. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, did I miss boxing? And every time I think about it, the answer is yes. I definitely miss the fights. I miss the fight week. Speaking to you guys in the fight week, obviously, when you're tired and annoyed and stuff to do interviews and stuff, I miss all that.
Yeah, and it misses you. No, honestly, it misses you because aside from what you do in the ring, Dillian, it's the outside stuff as well. I mean, you're entertaining outside the ring and then you back it up inside the ring. I think there are so many opponents out there for you. I know you said you want a couple of warm-up ones, but we just spoke to Joseph Parker. I mean, you beat Joseph. Now look, Joseph's on a cusp of world title fight. There's the Derek Chisora trilogy that everyone would want. I remember your little altercation with Martin Bakole that you had, I think it was in Poland.
So they tried to ambush me in Poland.
Yeah, I remember it.
It was random. I was just like, all right, you're ambushing me, so I'm just going to just come out fighting. And that's what I did. It's funny.
But I mentioned those guys because they're all big fights. They're all right there and they're all big fights. I mean, again, one or two more, maybe one more, and you're going to be in the mix with those guys because there's history there.
That's a great thing about heavyweight boxing. You're just one fight away from being right back where you was. You're one fight away from disaster, one fight away from super stardom. Great thing about heavyweight boxing, So, like I said, I'd like to get out December, and then whoever won it in the new year can get it. If Parker wants it, Bakole wants it. I'd love to fight Derek Chisora, actually, because I want to fight him again before he retire. I think just a respect and mutual respect between me and him and the wars we share. I'd love to fight him again. I would love to be. I'd love to just end it with another great fight. Me and him have a good fight, even if we're 60 years old. It's like me and AJ. It's like me and AJ. If we're 100 years old and we fight, it's gonna be a great fight as long as it lasts.
Absolutely. I would love to see Derek Chisora and you share a ring again. It's been a phenomenal story between the pair. You've shared souls in there. You've shared everything, haven't you?
Yeah.
And Derek now with a couple of fights left, he wants to go at 50. I think that's absolutely perfect. Maybe it is the 50th. Dillian, what have you missed about boxing and what haven't you missed? Because it is this sport which gives so much, but also is unpredictable and difficult for you fighters too.
Yeah, boxing is a funny one. There's so many ups and downs. There's no middle ground. It's like today you're up, tomorrow you're nothing. You know what I mean? And I've been through it all before. I've been in the down, I've been in the ups, I've been in the down, and then I said, you know what? Sod it for a bit. I said, you know what? I've had enough of it for a minute. But I missed the fight. You know what I mean? I'm a fighter by nature. I grew up fighting in life and struggling, and if I'm not fighting, I'm not happy. I love fight. When I'm fighting, I feel good. I love the fight. I love the challenging myself, fighting these guys like Parker, who's had hundreds of amateur fight, Povetkin, all of these guys, putting my toughness and ruggedness against those guys who's got class and pedigree and beating them. I love that. I love people say, you can't beat him, you're not going to beat him. And I love going in there and beating them and giving them hell. And I fought all the top guys around, and there's only a couple big names left that I'd like to fight. I'd like to fight Wilder, I'd like to fight Usyk, I'd love to fight Tyson Fury again, I'd love to fight AJ again, and Joseph Parker again. I'd love to fight Joe Joyce also.
Yeah, I mean, look, again.
How are you going to fit all those in? That's fantastic. What a lineup.
Yeah. But again, that speaks to the fact that there are options out there for you. I mean, you can be as good as you want. If you ain't got dance partners, you're shadow boxing, aren't you? So the fact that you've got so many names out there, and I think everyone will respond to those opponents, is a good thing. I've seen you at a couple of fight events, Dillian. Has anyone surprised you? I mean, me and Adam were talking about Daniel Dubois and the way in which he dispatched AJ. Did that surprise you at all?
You know what? It didn't surprise me that he beat him. What surprised me was the fashion he did it, and I know early he did it. It didn't surprise me because Daniel was obviously, he's got class and he's young. He's got similar physique to AJ. He's got similar punch power, and AJ seems to be very good or very bad. He's never really in the middle. He's either very good or he's very bad. And in my personal opinions, obviously, last 2 years, it seems to be a bit, he's there and he's not there, he's there and he's not there. Not to say anything negative about the guy. He's achieved so much and done so much for the game, but he just seems to be a bit like, I don't know what it is, obviously I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but I don't know what it is. It seems to be he's there, he's not there. It's like,
what mentally do you mean? Or
it's hard to say, man. He's a weird one. I've always said Age is a weird one. You can never understand what he's gonna do, and if you look at the fight, the boy is in the fight, he's bouncing around, he's paced up, and AJ's just standing there, spaced out like this, just staring for like 5 minutes. He just seems like he wasn't there. And then the fight start, he's moving on with his hands down, he's getting clocked with right hands, he's not defending them, he's sort of jabbing and retreating, he's not being offensive with nothing. Even though he showed incredibly hard in the fight from all knockdowns he did, but I was just surprised. Daniel Dubois did a great job. They had a good game plan, stick it on him, obviously, and just keep pressing him, and I think that's always been the way to beat AJ, is to press him.
Can I ask you a tough question, Dillian? Because it didn't go right for you at Wembley with that sort of crowd against Tyson Fury. So what happened that night? And can you compare it? You were just talking about Joshua, who just didn't seem to be there. For me, having followed your career all the way through, you didn't seem to be there against Tyson.
I'll be honest. Sometimes you train your whole life, you work your whole life for a moment, and then on the day, a lot of things went down in the negotiation and the build-up of the fight. A lot of things went down, and I trained hard. Mentally, I was ready, but physically, I just wasn't there on the night. Obviously, mentally, obviously, Tyson Fury came myself. I was already trying. I knew these mental games were going to happen, so mentally, I was there, but physically, I don't know. Physically, I just, it was strange. It was the first that happened to me where I just didn't turn up my usual self on the night. I mean, it was a weird one for me. I don't know what happened after. I don't know what happened. After that fight, went and had the hard fight, Jermaine Franklin, and fought. So I asked myself questions. I think to myself, is it time? But it wasn't time. It just sometimes maybe I train too long and too hard for the moment. Maybe I overtrain and over anticipate the moment and made it into something way bigger mentally than it should have been. If you know what I mean, well, I should have probably just been relaxed and just enjoy the moment. If you know what I mean, if they explain it.
It's interesting though, because you say you made it bigger than it was. It was bigger. I remember how huge it was, because this wait for you to get the WBC title went on and on and on. Remember, because it kept on like, when's Dillian Whyte going to get his opportunity? I remember it. It went on for years.
And I think that's also partly to do with it. I think, I waited so long for a fight, so hard for it. I think all that fight and that wait took the edge off of it for me, if you know what I mean. Obviously, like we had to took people to court and fight, and I was risking the position for so long. And honestly, I wanted to fight Wilder. I would have beaten Wilder and knocked Wilder. I'd have smashed Wilder to bits and I'd been WBC world champion. But obviously, Wilder's a coward and he messed me about for so long. But it's my fault. I just didn't turn up on the day, which is strange for me because I always turn up to fight. Actually, I did turn up to fight and I was fighting, but like Adam said, I just wasn't there. Obviously, I don't know what happened.
If you final one, Dillian, and really
I love
appreciate
that
it coming
honesty,
on.
by the way.
That was fantastic. That was. If we were to give you the opportunity to fight Wilder or AJ next, which one would you take?
I would definitely fight AJ next.
Okay.
I really hate the answer Wilder, but I got stuck by AJ. I've been stuck by Wilder, so I definitely want to get that one back.
Indeed, Dillian. Honestly, can't wait to see you in the ring. Hopefully, you mentioned fighting in December. Hopefully that kind of gets the green light, and we see you in December, and then we see you in those big fights in 2025. Because I think there's still quite a bit for you to offer in this heavyweight game.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Very, very kind of you, man. Thank you, Ali.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers,
Appreciate
Dillian.
it very much.
Cheers. Thank you.
Dillian Whyte. You look at the careers of certain fighters where we thought they were done. We thought Joseph Parker was maybe done after the Joe Joyce defeat. Everyone kind of ripped Daniel Dubois off. He's right. You never know. One win in the heavyweight division, and you are literally right back in the mix.
And it's a magic mix, isn't it, under Turkey's umbrella? It's absolutely fantastic. There's a whole host of heavyweights, not just Usyk and Fury. There's loads underneath ready to go, aren't they, at any time? You've got Dubois now, a champion. AJ looking for revenge. AJ Fury still the big fight out there. You chuck Derek Chisora still knocking around. Jilai Zhang, Martin McCauley, Dillian.
Loads. There's loads.
Wow.
We need an old Super 6, like a World Boxing Super Series Super 6, and get them all in so we can guarantee these fights. But again, as you say, with Turkey, we kind of are getting what we want to see right now in the heavyweight division. All right, let's go down a division. When we come back, we're going to talk to British Cruiserweight champion Chev Clarke.
first kick of the day.
The Weekend Sports Breakfast, tomorrow morning from 6 on talkSPORT with Tony Cascarino and Natalie Sawyer.
First Light football, fixture talk and full flavour fan food.
With big game previews.
Big name exclusives.
And qualifying comment from the nation's destination dawn chorus of Cascarino and Sawyer.
Unequivocal, qualified comment and concentrated club talk.
On the Weekend Sports Breakfast.
Pitch perfect and ready to play.
Tomorrow morning from 6
on talkSPORT.
Right hand from Clarke, one of the best shots of the entire contest, and this is a big attack. And down goes Zorro at the end of the round. And he looks like a beaten man. The referee continues the count, but Zorro will not be getting to his feet. And there is the count out.
And the new British Cruiserweight Champion, Shabaz.
And by the way, since that win against Elizoro, Chev did go to America. He fought the very tough Nigerian Apochi, put in a good performance over there. And he joins us in studio looking very, you've got a very kind of 1970s throwback look about you, don't you think?
He looks good, Chev.
He looks good.
And great to see you.
He looks good. He's in good spirits as well. Chev, appreciate you coming down, my man.
Thank you for having me, guys. I love coming down here,
I think it's good that we see you down here because I think you're now ascending. It's going to be very difficult to get you on soon because I think you're ascending to superstardom, Chev. I think you're going to go all the way.
I don't think Chev will forget us.
I hope not. I hope not.
What do you reckon?
I don't know. You could change the number without telling us, and that's when we know we have a bit of a problem. What's the last, or 2024 been like for you?
It's been normal. It's been cool.
I feel like it's been a lot busier.
You reckon?
Yeah, I feel like people are starting to know who you are. I feel like I remember when I first saw you, and it was almost. I think you even had a couple before the Bell show, so that's almost a show before the show. And I remember how disappointed you were with being on those shows and sometimes the performances in those shows. And I always said, it's going to come, Chev. It's going to come. And all of a sudden, here we are now, where it is coming. Still loads more to come. But I almost feel like this year has been the breakout year for you, I think, in terms of people knowing your personality, which is fantastic, and also seeing you in the ring. I think it's been a breakout year.
Really? You know what? I don't feel that, funny enough.
That's good then, because that means in your head there's still so much more to come.
There's loads more. First of all, I haven't boxed in the UK this year.
Wait, Zorro wasn't that? No, Zorro was. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Zorro was actually.
That was in Leeds.
That was in Leeds. Yeah. That was good. That was a brilliant show.
But you've had McCarthy, Zorro, Apache. You've gone over there. It has been busy, but I got the feeling that you were going to say that it's not your breakout year. I think 2025 you're looking at doing something pretty special, aren't you?
Yeah, it's all been special. It's all been a part of the special package, the seafood package. But yeah, 2025 is going to be an addition to that special package.
Yeah. Before we talk about what's coming on the horizon, obviously December 14th, European title, which again is the correct stage, isn't it? British, European, and then you go to the world scene. When you look at the cruiserweight division in the world right now, because sometimes the cruiserweight division, I'll be quite frank, sometimes it's dead. There's nothing in it. It's like we're waiting for a superstar. Mm-hmm. You must look at it now and think it's exciting. It's a very good division to be a part of because sometimes you got cruiserweights that basically want to go to heavyweight and almost just, it's a landing spot really, just kind of floating around the cruiserweight division. Now though, there's cruiserweights that want to be top cruiserweights. You're one of them.
Yeah, of course. Whenever you do anything, you want to be, I want to be the best at it, and a lot of people might not know, but I'm not like a boxing fan per se. I just happen to box and manage to get good results. But I'm in it, and whoever's around, if you're in the way, you're gonna have to come out the way at some point. So we're there or thereabouts now. I'm in the top 10 of most of the rankings, and we're gonna be knocking on the door. Not too long.
Was that important to get into the top 10 of every ranking? Was that kind of like the assignment at the start of this year? Like in terms of, okay, we're going into 2024, this is what we have to do. Was that one of the boxes that needed to be ticked?
I suppose so, but when I started this, the ultimate job is to get to the top. So, you know, we ended up where we ended up at the end of last year, and it was just the next stage was to break in and show people what they've been missing out on.
I want to wind back a little bit here, Chev. Hang on a minute. British champion, about to fight for a European belt against an undefeated man out in Monaco, but you're not really a boxing fan. You're not. It's just what you do. It's your job. Tell us more.
I don't know. I've always been a football guy. I love football. I'm still passionate football man. Arsenal fan, you know what I'm saying? All right, calm down. You know what I mean? All you Newcastle guys out there, pipe down as well.
It was a good day for us, Liverpool fans, over this side of the desk.
Oh, man, I don't know. I know it. My phone's been pinging off. But yeah, you know, as I said, growing up doing football, and I just went to the boxing gym one day and met a lovely guy called Jason Wicks, and just went from there. He just, you know, sold me a dream, and we're living it now.
Yeah, and certainly so far it's a good dream, isn't it? I mean, again, you're on the cusp of fighting for a European title. You know what happens after that. I feel like once you go British and European, you can either do the Commonwealth or you go straight to the big boys in the division. You're not that far away now. You can actually start to visualise the world title fights, because once you do win the European, and I think you will win it, then you're only a couple of fights away, maybe not even that, from a world title crack.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at history and you look at how other fighters have manoeuvred, I suppose you are right in that. But you know, let me handle the fight that I've got coming up, and
that's a good answer.
We'll do what we've got to do.
What do you know about him? Frenchman, originally from Dominica, 15-0, 9 knockouts. I guess it's about who he's fought, though. You've studied that. What do you think?
You know, it's all good who he's fought, but he ain't fought Chev Clarke.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that matters when it comes down to it, right?
No, it does. I guess, right? I mean, I guess if we ask him that, he's going to say exactly the same thing. He'll probably say that, exactly what you just said. So it is, when it's two unbeaten guys going in the ring with each other.
We love it.
Well, this is what the sport's about, right? And this is what it should be for a European title. It should be two very good unbeaten kids that want to go to the top.
Yeah, you know, it should be the best fighting the best. And when you look at my trajectory and how I've taken on my career so far, I've had 10 fights. You see my record. There's no, it's not padded.
You think he's his?
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying when you look at Chev, when you look at Chev,
you've taken steps up. You've gone up the levels, and fairly quickly in 10 fights.
I don't know if it's quick, but I could just say that.
I think it is fighting for a European title in fight number 11.
Yeah,
I can say that Chev's proven. He's been tested. You know, so yeah, come December 14th, it's going to be a beautiful day, because you know what? I'm going to win, and it's my birthday. So
it's your birthday as well, December 14th, and you've got a night in Monaco.
You know what I'm saying?
And the night in Monaco, I'll be there as well. That's going to be a good night. That's going to be a good night.
Turn up.
Straight after. Monaco's expensive though, so it's on you. It's certainly on you. If you do win the European title,
when I do win, start again. When
you win the European title, you don't go backwards then, do you? And the reason I mention that is because there are names over here that are British level fighters that I think will get there as well. I think Vidal Riley is a good fighter. I think he will potentially get there. But then you don't go back then, do you? Because we want those fights, no? We want to see those fights.
The eyes move there with Vidal Riley.
It did move. Vidal seemed... Every time I say Vidal...
I like you to fight
get a
Vidal
reaction
Riley.
from Chev. Yeah, there's a reaction there.
Hey, listen, first and foremost, I ain't got no beef with Vidal or anybody else out here. We'll fight. We're all fighting, guys. We'll. This is what we do. We'll fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you look at Chev,
do you think that fight will happen?
I mean, I've got the British.
He's got the English. Am I correct?
Yes,
he's got the English, hasn't he?
And he's undefeated.
I mean,
and he's a good talker. It's a great match.
Yeah, well, talk's cheap.
Talk's great to sell, you know that. Entertainment. You're at every single fight. I see you everywhere. You're getting in all the interviews. You know what you're doing.
But Chev don't talk much, does he?
I
just deliver.
That's why it's a good matchup, because you've got someone like Vidal who does talk. And you.
Look, all I'm saying is I'm only 10 fights in the game. You see where I'm at.
Oh, okay. Well, a little bit of a dig there to Vidal.
Whoa! There ain't no dig. I'm
100%.
You know,
It's happened here.
100%.
You know what?
It started here. Fight Night TalkSport. The fire
100%
has been lit.
Can we get Vidal on the phone? I'm
This
joking.
is it. Vidal,
You
come
know
on
what
later.
Chev do, yeah? Let me tell you guys, if you ain't listened to Chev before, you know, the listeners out there, listen, I just come on here and just tell the facts. And the facts is, I've had 10 fights, I'm British champion, IBF international champion, WBA, and soon to be European champion in 10 fights. So, you know, just saying.
And that bombshell, we're going to go to break. Chev's going to stick with us for the second half. Make sure you do.
Bob and weave your way through 3 hours of knockout radio. Fight Night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Shabaz
Enjoying himself here, and at times it's almost as if he's building for the future Gage in terms of where Clarke might be going.
Oh, the cruiserweight division is great. And then they'll go, oh, Chris Billingsmith, great. Okoli's in there. Vidal Riley's in there.
Richard Riakporhe.
Richard Riakporhe. Where's Chev, yo?
Where are you, Chev? Chev Clarke in the studio with us as he looks forward to his European title fight December the 14th in Monaco, Monte Carlo. A very different atmosphere, those type of fights. Adam, you've covered a few of those.
Yeah.
What can Chev look forward to and expect from that type of night?
Well, they're incredible events in many ways. It's black tie. It's a night out. The casino, the backdrop of a wonderful place in Monaco. It's fantastic for a great weekend away. You guys are going to enjoy it. But it's a fight, and I guess it's most like COVID. Probably it's very quiet, and it's a very different atmosphere. It's part of an evening as opposed to where we go in Britain and watch the fights, and it's all from start to finish. You're just talking boxing the whole time. It's just, I guess, part of the entertainment. But you just got to go in there, a ring's a ring, and you know what you're doing.
Does that matter to you?
Personally, to me, don't. I mean, listen, this is the thing, all right? I'm going to give you the journey of Chev now. It started off boxing. You start off boxing in little halls as an amateur, dinner shows, which this sounds pretty much like a dinner show. Then I was fortunate enough to be on the Team GB boxing team. Unfortunately, during the COVID period,
Fighting behind closed doors.
Fighting behind closed doors. So, I'm well versed or well experienced in that feel of things. So that won't bother me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. Putting a show either way. So ring, me and him, and even if people were there to shout, they can't save him.
Now, Adam mentioned before, as soon as you came in, that this is your full fight this year. which is a lot nowadays. I mean, you just don't get that kind of activity.
I like that momentum.
It's really good. Do
I love
prefer
it.
that,
I love it.
staying
So
busy
shout
like
out to the guys for putting that on for me, making that happen. Being busy is key. You know, I'm not into this whole 6-8 months. I'm not fighting. Like, we're fighters. That's what we're meant to do. Like Sugar Ray Robinson and them was fighting 4 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah. Are you one of those guys that are always in the gym then? Because every time I see you, you never look out. No, honestly, you never look out of shape. Obviously, you have to make the cruiserweight limit. You're very thick set. But you always one of those people that just live in the gym. Because I see some guys almost, as soon as a fight camp has started, that's when they then go to the gym. As opposed to always being in the gym and then sort of using the fight camp to kind of lose weight. Almost like they use fight camp almost like a Weight Watchers program. Yeah, what about you? Are you always constantly in the gym?
You know, I was fortunate enough, as I said, to be on GB Boxing, and there was a standard set there, so I live by that standard. You know.
You got that experience, that pedigree in the amateurs as well. Do you think that really holds you in good stead now, going through it the traditional route, British, European, and then obviously hitting the world scene in, I guess, probably 12 months, 18 months, but it's going to be soon, isn't it?
It's going to come at some point, and I'll be ready for it. But yeah, I think being on the team definitely has helped shaped who I am and shaped my professional career.
You say, Chev, that your record's not padded, maybe, unlike the opponent that you're facing.
I never said that.
In Monaco.
What did you say then, Chev? That's what you said. Play the audio. That's what you said.
Rewind the audio, because what Chev said is, if you look at my trajectory, my record, it's not been padded. Yeah. I never said in comparison.
Okay, so yours has not been padded. So you're going a fast route, but you're taking it seriously, and it's on course. Richard Riakporhe, say Chris Billam-Smith. Billam-Smith's got a huge fight in a couple of weeks, we know, against Zerdo. If they were the next opponents, would you take them, or do you believe you have to get the European title, get some more seasoning before Chev is ready for that moment?
First and foremost, you said I'm going fast, right? I don't believe I'm going fast. I'm going at my pace. Because if these other guys could fight the guys that I fought and beat them, they would have done the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when you do your job, you do it because you're able to
I'm ready.
Do it. Yeah. And you're ready.
But Chev, the question is, are you ready for a Riakporhe or a Billam-Smith, or do you need more time?
Has the case been presented to me?
Chev is such a politician.
I'm a politician, bro. I'm saying, has it been presented to me?
No, you're right. It's not been presented to me.
So let's work with the facts. Again, if we want to work with the facts, I mean, I'm going to work with the facts. I fought the guy I fought last got presented to a load of guys over here. None of them fought him.
That I know. That's true. I do know that for a fact.
So are they ready?
Are they ready?
Yeah,
well, we'll ask them. But I'm asking you if you're ready.
I'm always ready.
There you go, Chev.
Okay.
That's all I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Always ready.
Yeah. But I also feel, as much as I believe you are ready for all comers, right? I mean, even if it means a world title crack, there is a route to take.
Yeah.
And I know you're very sort of you're very stuck in that, okay, I want to do this route.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to win the European title, I know this is all ifs and buts, and I'm just going to jump on and piggyback on what Adam says, and you were offered a world title crack, would you take it?
What is the rewards for the world title crack?
World title.
We've seen a lot of guys fight for the world title, and let's say it don't go their way, and we don't see them again.
So you've got to be ready to stay at that level. That's the key, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if maybe they were ready to stay at that level, but you know.
Or you've got to go with the flow and the momentum like Chris Billam-Smith's had. I mean, what a story he is.
I mean, Chris has done amazing because, me and him were in tryouts to get on Team GB. Obviously, he did his thing and I went my way. So, yeah, he has done amazing, but I don't think it was go with the flow. You don't go with the flow. There's a plan in place. He's got a very good team around him.
He's got a very good team. And he's got a very good chance against Zerdo Ramirez, hasn't he?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He's got good experience. He's had some good wins under him. Ramirez, again, he's a good fighter. Come up from light heavyweight.
Yep.
Southpaw. So, you know, we're in for a good fight.
He's done his studying for someone that doesn't watch boxing.
I don't watch boxing.
Doesn't watch boxing, but
you guys
knew he was a southpaw and he's come up from the lighter division.
He does
hey,
watch
listen,
it.
He
Chef
certainly
does.
watches
I don't watch boxing, bro. My assistant's there. She'll come and tell you.
Oh, surely.
They'll be on my case. Are you watching the? I don't need to watch that.
Chev, look, there's so many big fights in Saudi. And every time I've spoken to Chev, when are you going to get out to Saudi and be at one of these big fights? Has there been any discussion about you getting on one of these Saudi cards? I mean, that seems to be all the rage now for fighters wanting to get on one of these cards. It's a bigger platform, it's a bigger audience, right?
More money.
More money. That's the most important thing, is more money. Has there been any discussion at all about you getting on one of those cards?
Zero.
Really?
Zero. I've not heard nothing from anybody, but, you know, Chev's been active all year, so, you know, I'm grateful for that still.
Yeah, the activity is so important, and you think the bigger nights and paydays will come.
Hopefully.
Well, I don't want to cause any trouble here, so you can ignore this question if you want, but does it annoy you that there has been zero conversations about you being on these cards? Again, you're an active fighter, you're an unbeaten fighter, you've got the amateur standout background as well, everyone knows who you are, Chev. Does it annoy you that you've not even been in the discussion to be on one of these cards? Should I call Turkey now and sort this out for you? Listen,
I don't know how the organisation goes for these
cards
for
Riyadh season.
For Riyadh season. So, you know, His Excellence, I'm sure, if he cast an eye on the work that Chev does, I'm sure he'd be happy to.
Well, he's a fight fan, and he does
to bring me in. But, you know, it's for somebody to bring the card to him and be like, you know, so maybe next time you see him, Ade, be like, you know, there's this guy over, you know, because nobody's ever flicked the channel on my watch.
Yeah,
I ain't never made nobody fall asleep.
No,
and I bring a good fan base as well, you know. So when Chev's on the card, I enhance it.
Yeah, we love to watch you, and I think it's only a matter of time. I think he keeps winning. He puts on a good performance in Monaco. What a year 2024 will be for Chev Clarke, but 2025 has got to be the coming out party, hasn't it?
Man, well, we're already out. It's for everybody else to catch up.
There you go. I like it. Chev, what can we expect December 14th?
Well, you always see, man. It's going to be explosive, fireworks. Monaco is not going to be the same after I've finished there.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear, Chev. Good luck, Chev.
Enjoy it.
I can't even say if you become European champion.
When
you become European champion.
Before I leave.
Yes, sir. Go on.
I just watched the fight while I was waiting out there between Echo and Ben.
Yeah, Ben Vaughan and Echo Exman. Yeah.
You know what? Both guys, amazing. Shout out to Echo. That's my boy.
It was an unbelievable fight.
You know what? You guys love that, but if you ever see me in a fight like that, it's not.
That's the kind of fight where you say, okay, let's not see any of those fights for 6 months.
It was
that brutal. It was that brutal. But well done to Echo Usman for winning. Well done to Ben Vaughan as well for taking part, and well done for you on what's been a really good 2024. And hopefully you can put the cherry on top of the cake come December 14th, and then I'll see you in Riyadh 2025.
Yes, sir.
Indeed, we will. Chev Clarke, my man, appreciate it. All right, when we come back, we're going to hear from, I think, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, Mike Tyson.
DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT. Talk Sport.
Good evening, I'm Mark Tyler. On a rare day when both Manchester City and Arsenal lost, Liverpool have gone 2 points clear at the top of the Premier League. Arne Slot saw his team come from behind to beat Brighton with goals from Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah.
They outplayed us the first half. The second half was completely different, and that led to 2 goals and a lot of chances, in my opinion.
City lost 2-1 at Bournemouth, their first Premier League defeat of 2024. Pep not panicking just yet.
We lost again, yeah. Happened. But at the end, you have to accept it and learn from this.
Alexander Isak's header gave Newcastle a 1-0 win over Arsenal. It leaves Mikel Arteta's side 7 points off the pace now. Forest moved above them into third with a comfortable 3-0 win against West Ham. Jordan Ayew scored a stoppage-time equaliser for Leicester in the 1-1 draw at Ipswich. And Southampton are off the bottom with their 1-0 victory over Everton, their first 3 points of the season, and a big relief for boss Russell Martin.
I think they believe they can play the way we want to because they've done it. They've maintained that. They've stayed brave and got brave in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, but the win will help, of course, because some of them have been on the pitch and not evidenced that enough, really, or at all yet in the league. Some of the new guys. So I'm really delighted.
So Wolves now bottom after their 2-2 draw with Palace. Celtic thrashed Aberdeen 6-0 to reach the Scottish League Cup final. Kettering have produced the biggest shock of the FA Cup first round with an extra time winner against Northampton. Non-league Wealdstone, Oldham, Dagenham and 7th tier Harborough are also through. In rugby's autumn internationals, late heartbreak for England at Twickenham, losing to the All Blacks 24-22. Here's the England prop, Maro Itoje.
Got ourselves in a position to win the game. We didn't win the game. We weren't as clinical, but I thought we played with loads of passion. I thought we played attacking rugby, but today wasn't our day.
Scotland beat Fiji 57-17 at Murrayfield. Liam Livingstone's led England's cricketers to the West Indies by 5 wickets in the second one-day international. He hit a career-best 124 not out, chasing down a victory target of 329 to level the series. The decider is in Barbados on Wednesday, and it's live on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
The King and Queen say they're utterly heartbroken at the devastation caused by flash floods in eastern Spain. And Kemi Badenoch says it's the most enormous honour to be named as the new leader of the Conservative Party.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're here for every journey. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Mostly cloudy through Sunday, some drizzle, but most places staying dry.
Knockout Radio for your Saturday night fight night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
This is it. The time has come.
Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
He's put him down.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
By the way, what an hour that was. That's incredible, wasn't it, that hour? I mean, I'm not, tooting my own horn, but if I listened to that, I would have said that was a thoroughly enjoyable hour. And we've still got so much more to come as well. Tunde Ajayi is going to join us in studio, trainer and manager of Anthony Yarde. We're going to hear from the great Mike Tyson. Obviously, he's fighting again. He's fighting Jake Paul. We're going to get our take on that. We're going to preview the big one between Liam Davis and Shabaz Masoud. We're going to have a bit of MMA chat as well. And we're going to talk about 50-year anniversary of the Rumble in the Jungle. So loads to come. Loads, absolutely loads to come. So make sure you stay locked in for the next 2 hours. Loads on Fight Night. Chev Clarke's a big boy, isn't he?
I really like Chev. I mean, he says he's not a politician. He says he doesn't watch boxing. He's a real cool cat, and he's a character that we need in the sport. And he can fight.
He can fight. This is it. That's why I love the fact that you chuck those Chris Smith and Richard Riakporhe names at him, because he's not a million miles away from that. Certainly not Richard Riakporhe. Obviously, Chris Smith in an ideal world, wants a unification big fight against Jaya Pattaya, but a Richard Riakporhe fight, I think, is on the cusp.
Chev's on a fast track. He's not young, and I think that they know that, and they've moved him quickly, and the momentum is great with him, and the cruiserweight division is really buzzing, and I think there's some fantastic fights out there for him. We talk Vidal Riley, the Riakporhes, the Chris Billam-Smiths. It's all there for him, but he cannot overlook potential banana skin undefeated fighter he's going in with, and in Monaco, and it's not long away, so he needs to get that one right and finish the year in style.
Yeah, what also is not long away, 2 weeks time now, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, November the 15th. I'm not quite sure. I've not asked your take on that, actually. What's your
I'm not
honest
quite
views
sure
on it?
either. I worked with Mike at the beginning of my career. He was still very active, and had some interesting, not altercations with Mike, but I saw the good side and the bad side, and some funny interviews with him, and enjoyed his company. And it was just an absolute pleasure, because I looked up to him as a fighter, of course, the magnetism of the man. It is sad in many ways that he's coming back at nearly 60, but it's one of those things that you just can't take your eyes off. You're going to watch it. Jake Paul doing his own thing. It's I don't know. It's cynical for me a little bit, but at the same time, people are going to watch. It's entertainment in quotes. I love the fact that Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano have got a terrific fight on the bill, so there is real boxing. But look, I was there when Logan Paul fought KSI, and we took it for what it was. It was entertaining. It was great. The two guys, the two YouTubers, so much fun being around them. This is a different one. Mike Tyson's a legend, and I get what Eddie Hearn says about the fact that, we remember him for what he was, but also Mike says if he can fight, he should be able to, and he wants this at this stage, and maybe it's something he needs.
Yeah, and this fight, by the way, has been sanctioned, so this is a legitimate professional fight, which is why I have so many question marks around it. Anyway, let's hear from the great Mike Tyson. Adam Cattrall caught up with Mike and asked him why he's decided to return to the ring.
You know why we're here now?
Go for it.
58. I'm going to fight in the biggest arena ever, and it's going to be sold out, and who else can do that?
Well, nobody. If I'm thinking about it, when I actually think about the things that you've already achieved, where you've fought in stadiums before, like Hampden Park, obviously over on this side of the pond. I know that the Tokyo Dome had 40,000 people in there. I don't know what the ticket sales are like for this in Dallas.
We already sold Dodger Stadium out right now, and the amount of people that fits Dodger Stadium, we already sold that out already.
So what does that make you feel like? Like, obviously, where you're at now in life, to be able to still do that, I mean, that's pretty crazy.
I have to perform. That gives me all the inspiration. Let me know, boy, you better perform tonight. It's time to perform.
How has training changed from the young Mike Tyson to the guy that he stood right in front of me ready to perform on November the 15th?
It haven't changed too much. The only thing that I get more massages now.
The rest and recuperation and the recovery.
Sometimes I try to overdo it and realize, hey, you need to chill out for a day or two.
Are you still? I see you on the mitts and the pads with Rafael Cordero quite a lot. Are you still in hard sparring?
Oh yeah, I box on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I box. Monday and Tuesday I box 8 rounds. Every day I box 8 rounds. 3-minute rounds.
Are you bringing in specific sparring partners for this one?
Guys at MLAJ, I bring some big, strong guys in too to help me push some guys around, fight them. But I got a lot of movers, and I got a couple of big guys to pretty much go head to head with.
What do you make of Jake Paul as a boxer?
He's a good little fighter, but he only has 10 fights. That's considered an amateur in our field.
A novice boxer, absolutely. And with that in mind, I mean, you are famous for saying that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What are you anticipating when you punch this young man in the mouth?
I see him running around, and I have to catch him and slaughter him.
Do you fear for him with this? Because you're former undisputed champion. You're Iron Mike Tyson. You know how to throw a punch. You know how to defend yourself. You've just, like you've said, he's an amateur, a novice boxer. Do you fear for him? on November the 15th?
Oh, no, because he stepped into the ring. If my mother stepped into the ring, she has a problem with me. You know, whoever's in that ring, they have a problem. Don't go in the ring if you don't want that problem.
A victory against Jake, where would you rank it amongst all the great victories that you've had?
I don't know. I wouldn't rank it that high. You know, I'm just in there to perform. You know, I'm not in there to judge my performance or anything. I'm in there to judge Mike, me.
You mentioned before about how big this is. It gets even bigger because this is a Netflix stepping into the world of boxing.
Absolutely.
Well, talk to me about that. You've done big pay-per-views, Mike, in the past. I mean, how many people are actually going to watch this thing? This could be astronomical.
Hey, listen, sky's the limit. That's mostly why I do these things, because I wanted to be the biggest fighter in the history of fighting. And that's just my goal in life. That's what drives me. I want to be the biggest fighter in the history of life. That drives me. That drives me more than money. To be the best, be the biggest fighter since the beginning of life. And probably to the end of eternity.
This fight's obviously been rescheduled from July. I want to ask you obviously about the health. Are those issues, are they completely gone? Have you sorted everything out with that?
Everything sorted out. I had an ulcer problem. I was eating bad food.
I need to ask you about the current heavyweight scene at the very top of the table. We've got a rematch coming up in December for Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Firstly, what did you make of the first fight?
Hey, listen, Usyk surprised everybody. I think Tyson Fury played around too much. I think he needs to be fighting serious, and hopefully we have a different result.
Do you think Jake Paul's taking you serious, the way that he's talking about this fight?
Hey, listen, Jake believes his own lies sometimes. You know, I guess when you're in a big fight, you have to become delusional and believe you're somebody that you're actually not. But he's in a lot of trouble, I believe.
Mike Tyson there speaking to our very own Adam Cattrall as he prepares for that fight against Jake Paul November 15th in Texas, and they have sold out the stadium. I don't want to dig out Mike too much just because I'm a huge fan of Mike Tyson and I got to love and got into the sport because of Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson at 58 years of age shouldn't be fighting Jake Paul. He's not had a professional fight since 2005. He had that
when he looked terrible against Kevin McBride.
He looked awful. He looked awful. And then he had this fight of sorts with Roy Jones Jr. 4 years ago, and I think we all saw in that he slowed down drastically. I don't know what people were expecting to see November 15th against Jake Paul. So I do want to move on from it, really. I don't even want to ask you about it, Adam. I'd rather sort of have my energy and focus all my energy on Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano too.
Me too.
Because I was there for the first one at MSG, and that was one of the best fights and atmospheres I've ever experienced. And I'm happy they're getting paid. At the later stage of their career, I'm happy they're getting paid. So that's the one sort of, thumbs up I'd give to Jake Paul for making that.
Gutted I missed that one. I was in Vegas for Shakur Stevenson the same night, and I watched
Oscar Valdez, wasn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Brilliant performance by Stevenson. And I've been with Katie since the beginning, so we've just loved having Katie Taylor. She's an icon of the sport. She's a queen in Ireland. She's absolutely magical. Ever since she fought Tasha Jonas at the Olympics, Johnny and I were there, and the sound noise was phenomenal. And just everything. She carried the flag, Olympic gold medalist, turning pro. She's been the pioneer. If Jane Couch sort of missed her time a little bit, she was the first up. But Katie has led the brigade of brilliant female fighters to have come through, and she's phenomenal herself. She still trains 48, 49 weeks of the year over in Connecticut. We're good friends, and I came back after my illness, and she was the first fighter I wanted to see when she beat Chantel Cameron in Dublin, and the Amanda Serrano rematch is an absolute firecracker. It's a really good fight, and I'm really glad it's on this card, so it's going to get that exposure on Netflix, and for the thousands in the stadium as well who are watching this oddity between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. They get something absolutely fantastic from a boxing point of view, and that's Katie and Serrano. Serrano, a wonderful fighter in her own right. It was nip and tuck the first time. I just can see it being another classic.
It's going to be a good one. It really is. And again, I'm happy for both. Where are you on this debate between Katie and Clarissa Shields as the GWOAT, if you like, to coin the Clarissa Shields phrase there? Who is the GWOAT of female boxing out of those two?
It's very difficult. It's a very difficult one to call because they're obviously different weights. They're completely different backgrounds, different histories, different stories. And I have utmost respect for the pair of them. What Claressa Shields has done from a terrible upbringing has been unbelievable. The fact she's gone up through the weights. Look at the last one. She's just an absolute superstar.
Yep.
She's flash. She's brash, wearing those red slippers around Cardiff streets. I absolutely love Claressa Shields, but I've got to say I've got an enormous soft spot for Katie Taylor. She's had a whole country with her in Ireland. She's been the most successful amateur, winning everything. For somebody that at 11 years old had to be dressed as a boy, as Kay Taylor, to even fight, what she has done for the sport, for her country, her nation, for women has just been absolutely phenomenal. And she is the nicest woman. She's so down to earth. She's brilliant. My daughters are inspired by her, and that's what it's all about. So for me, Katie Taylor probably gets the edge, but I'm slightly on this side of the waters. But I love Claressa. She's just a different. She's just a different cat, isn't she?
She is, and I think that the issue with Claressa, and this is not her fault, that she's in a weight class where no one's to fight. There's no one to fight.
Well, the Savannah Marshall thing was great. Now she's gone into the cage, and Savannah's gone in as
gone
well.
into the cage as well, isn't she? Yeah.
They're both in there.
Yeah.
They've got to meet again.
Why did that not happen again immediately?
Not sure, but I know that Claressa going into PFL, Savannah wanted the challenge. I don't think she wanted to do MMA at the beginning, but now she's absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
She had a very, very exciting fight back in June in PFL. And listen, I'd like to see them obviously in a boxing ring, but it might happen in a cage. It's got to happen.
Yeah, we need to see that one again. A fight that is happening is tonight, and it's Liam Davis is going to take on Shabaz Masoud, a fantastic fight in the super bantamweight division. When we come back, we're going to look ahead to that.
Yeah, hey, look, exclusive Monday night Premier League football. Fulham versus Brentford. Whoa! Build up from 7. Kick-off 8 p.m. sharp on talkSPORT. What else are you going to do on a Monday night, bro? Watch EastEnders? Whatever that is.
Welcome back to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Ade Oladipo alongside Adam Smith. We've been speaking about this card that Queensbury have put on because there's been a couple of really good fights on there so far. I mean, obviously the standout Echo Usman versus Ben Vaughan. This one could be even better. Liam Davis takes on Shabaz Masoud. They were supposed to fight back in July. That didn't happen. There's a bit of history between the two as well. Shabaz's beaten Liam a couple of times in the amateurs. Completely different sport sometimes, I reckon, the amateurs. So Liam Davis has got a bit of revenge on the mind. It's a great fight. Super bantamweight division's really hot right now in this country as well.
Really hot, and it's a fantastic fight. Someone who's got to go. That's the old saying. And Liam Davis has been a brilliant story for Frank Warren. We had Chev talking about the small halls, and he's come up through that, and no one really believed in him, and he's gone on this fantastic run, knocking everyone out.
Yeah.
And now he comes in against Shabaz, who's a long-time rival. Got a couple of wins over him when they were kids, and it is a different sport, the amateurs, but that's psychological. It's a hurdle for him to get over tonight, Liam, but he's got the support, he's got the home advantage, and I think that he's got the momentum and the probably the firepower to get through this. I reckon possibly even by a late stoppage. But don't write off Shabaz Masoud. He's good. He's technically strong. And as I said, not only has he got an unblemished record as a pro, he has those victories over Davis. And that just can play on you if things aren't going right first 3 or 4 rounds. And it could just be that he's got a style that upsets Davis. So it's a really good one for Frank tonight.
No, I think it's a really, really good fight. Again, we've been wanting it for a few months and it happens tonight. I spoke to Liam a couple of days ago and I was like, is it 2 semi-finals, you versus Shabaz and Pete McGraw versus Dennis McCann? And he's like, no. He wants to win this one, then go. I mean, he wants those big fights. Obviously, look, the biggest fight in the division is Inoue.
You see, that's the problem.
And
that's a big problem. And we're talking about levels in the sports, and Inoue is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet, and Liam Davis doesn't want to go anywhere near him at the moment. None of the 4 you mentioned do. I think Dennis and Peter is a great fight out in Riyadh on the Fury-Usyk card, and I think that would be a brilliant start for 2025 if the winners met.
Yeah, let's watch how that one plays out. It's going to be an interesting fight again. We'll keep you updated as to how that fight goes on. A fight that we just witnessed, which was, I thought, an absolute war, was Eko Usman versus Ben Vaughan. Eko Usman coming out with a W and should go on to something really big, I hope, in 2025. He joins us now. Eko, wow. I mean, me and Adam were watching that as we're doing the show. We're watching it and we're like, this is turning out to be a bit of a war. Did you feel like that in the ring, that this was a war? Was you always in control of it?
Well, when you're getting ready for war, it means we are ready, and I'm always ready. So I was ready for whatever he brought. I knew he couldn't help but make it into a tasty fight. So I had to throw a bit of kidology in there and mess him around, and also take it to him at the same time.
Eko, a tasty fight. It was an absolutely brutal fight. Absolutely fantastic from start to finish. We were trying to watch it as well as being on air. It was tricky. How did you get through it? How did you enjoy it? Do you love those sort of battles? You relish them? It's so good to watch.
Yeah. You know what? I do enjoy them. You know, it's boxing's like physical chess, except for when you get hit, it's painful. But I relish in it because obviously it's what we do. I mean, we spend the whole camp training hard, pushing ourselves, and just really pushing yourself through it. And the fight's the best part. So if you're not enjoying it, what are you doing?
Eko, I've been sort of talking about you for a while now, saying Eko deserves a big one. And this is no disrespect to what you've done in the last sort of 12 months. You've been in big fights, right? Big domestic fights. But I almost feel like you deserve a big payday against one of the big boys, whether it be on the world level or some of the big domestic ones. Conor Benn, I know, is fighting Chris Eubank potentially, so maybe he's out of the way. But surely now it's a big one in 2025.
Yeah. I've been saying to Frank, I want that big fight. I want to push on. Like I was saying in the interviews after the fight today, I'm sick of these young guns because I'm sick of ending their careers early on. Like, give me the established boxer that you think I won't be able to beat, and I'll come back with, chuck me in the Lions den, I'll come back with the Lions mane.
You know I feel as well, obviously, look, I think Jaron Ennis is the man at 147 pounds, but I do look at the other champions in the division, whether it be a Stanionis or a Mario Barrios, and I'm like, they're good, but I don't think they're outworldly good. I mean, don't you ever think like, okay, just chuck me in with one of those and let's see what I can do? A bit like the way Mickelson took on Virgil Ortiz, so we knew where Mickelson was. Do you not just want to crack at one of these big boys?
Yeah, of course I do. I mean, I want to push on like that. I've said it for a long time. I want to push on. So, Frank, you gotta get me on the jumping board. Push me on.
But that has to happen now at your age and stage, doesn't it, Echo? It's 2025 or never really for you. You've got those couple of wins since the Harry Scarf defeat, and I think that as Ade said, Ennis is a fantastic fighter, but there is openings, there are possibilities there for you to go and fight for gold, fight for a world title.
Yeah, why not? I mean, everyone. Well, not everyone. Some people have that little blip in their career, but for me, it just relit the fire, put fuel in the engine, turned me into something else. You can see more bloodlust, more hunger, more spitefulness, just more energy.
Echo, what I need you to do though, after watching that fight for me, please, is go on holiday for a couple of weeks. Go on holiday for a couple of weeks. Do nothing.
No.
Do nothing, please, Echo.
My wife's already done that. She's already got one booked in. I'm going on holiday.
Lovely. Well done to your wife.
You deserve a rest.
You deserve a rest, my man. And hopefully, again, we get you on in 2025. There is something really big and special because I think your career deserves it. Congratulations on a magnificent performance today, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me as well.
Not at all.
Great to hear from him straight after that as well.
Honestly,
I mean, it was a barn
I can't believe he's
burner.
talking so coherently.
That will be one of the domestic fights of the year.
Yeah.
It was absolutely brilliant, and there was applause everywhere afterwards from the officials, and that was an absolute cracker. And we love those sort of fights, but they do take a lot out of fighters, I think, as well. And he needs a rest before 100%. He goes again. And well done to Ben Vaughan, who was undefeated before that one. Really good. Just think Chantel Cameron as well, getting another victory, second under Frank Warren. She's back in the mix. Katie Taylor, obviously, the trilogy that never happened at Croke Park. Chantel seems to have got the fire back. She actually left Jamie Moore to go to Grant Smith, but I think it was all pretty amicable, and Grant now has her under his wing. So, you wish Chantel well. She's been a terrific fighter.
Yeah, you mentioned some of Frank's fighters there, and the stable is big, isn't it? It's strong. He's locking down some of these superstar talents as well. Hamza Shiraz, Liam Davis, who fights today, Nick Ball, Lawrence Okoli, they've all signed these long-term
Nick Ball
deals.
got in his box for the Arsenal game the other day. We didn't get in Frank's box. Nick Ball was there.
Did he really?
Nick Ball got in the box. Big Liverpool fan. Shout out to Nick. Great guy, great fighter, great story. But look what Frank's doing. He's got Fabio Wardley, and Wardley wins in a round. He's then gone and re-signed all these fighters. He's got Lawrence Okoli as well to add to the heavyweight mix. And Frank Warren is just, I mean, it's amazing that he's come back like this.
Honestly, it's incredible, and he's putting on really good domestic shows. Obviously, what he does out in Saudi Arabia. I think this Magnificent Seven card's a good one as well. Brad Pauls versus Denzel Bentley, I think, is a great main event.
And shout out to George Warren too, as well. Who I think
he's the one that does a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, isn't it? Really, he's almost in the shadows.
Yeah.
Solomon Dacre's on that card versus David Adeleye. You mentioned Lawrence Okoli as well. Really, really good card. Sam Noakes versus Ryan Walsh. Can't wait for that one.
Ryan Walsh, what a great win. He had one of our GBM shows. Absolutely fantastic.
How's he still going?
Against Reece Mould. The brothers, he doesn't stop Ryan Walsh. You know, he's approaching 40. He's as fit as they come, and his legs were still there, and he won in a first round knockout. I tell you what, he's absolutely brilliant. They're great value, the Walsh brothers from Rover.
They're fantastic. Like, because when you sign up with one, you get all three, don't you?
You get all three,
don't you?
Together, and Liam's the quiet one, but Michael, he's absolutely nuts.
It's crazy family. All right, up next, we're going to be joined by a very special guest. Tunde Ajayi is going to join us in studio.
This winter, talkSPORT 2 is the only radio station where you can hear every ball, every appeal, and every wicket of every single game of England's tour of the West Indies.
Oh, that's piped top edge, straight up into the air.
Wednesday afternoon from 5:30. The action continues with exclusive ball-by-ball commentary of the third and final ODI, live from the Kensington Oval, Barbados. The West Indies versus England in the third ODI, Wednesday afternoon from 5:30 on talkSPORT 2. How's that?
So far as I know, Anthony Yarde is ready to fight. Anthony Yarde has never turned down a fight. I think that's the most important thing.
Sure.
And Anthony Yarde has been free to fight since February.
Body shot from Yarde, shot to the head, down he goes. Solid shot, right hand, Silva down, staring at referee Marcus McDonnell, and it's all over.
Yeah, really, really good to see Anthony Yarde back in action. A couple of weekends ago, got the victory over Ralph Vikens. Pushed. It was asked some questions, but he came through that. And that's the most important thing, to see Anthony Yarde active. I've been sort of having my own little Twitter rant about Anthony Yarde needs to be in the ring. Yarde needs to be in the ring, and it's good to see him
and he
back
was,
in the ring.
and he got a great start, and then he had a tough one.
Yeah.
It was an interesting fight, actually. I think he needs the big ones now, though.
That's all we want to see him in the big ones, and the man that knows all about that is his trainer, manager Tunde Ajayi. He joins us in studio now. Tunde, how are you, my man? Good?
Oh, fantastic. This is an honor. It's an honor, a pleasure to be sitting here with you, Ade, and let me just say, an even bigger pleasure to be sitting next to the maestro, the virtuoso, the teething, the toffering, Adam Smith, the legend of commentary, the man that I've been studying from day one. The reason why I'm so excited on The Fight Is Right with myself and Spencer Fury is because I've studied this man for years. He doesn't know, but Adam, you've been a great inspiration to me and to many.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Tunde.
Yes,
I really appreciate that.
It's the voice as well, isn't it?
It's the voice.
You can't
compete with forget about all these new school and all this. It's like you need Adam saying he's teetering, he's stuttering, he's all over the place.
It's funny actually, because when you think of those big British boxing moments, it's Adam. Like when I think of the AJ one, I said this to you. Like when I remember, I think I said this to AJ actually. Lift off Wembley, Vladimir Klitschko. That line you used for AJ.
Yes.
Some of the big ones, Carl Froch against Lucien Boutte, you on comms. So it's good that Tunde gives you your props.
No, it's really nice. I just love fighters. I'm passionate, as you know, about this sport since I was a kid, and I just love being around sportsmen and women. And I'm just very, very lucky to have done that for a long time. And I'm very grateful for the opportunities I've had at Sky. And I still love it, whether they're 4-round fighters or English title or world champions or the greats like Mayweather. It's just an honour for me to watch and try and entertain as best as I can, because the fighters are the ones that do it in the ring. They're the ones that are brave enough to get in there. And I've been very, very fortunate. And thank you. I really appreciate what you said, Tunde.
Passion is something that cannot be hidden. There are a lot of people who pretend to enjoy something, but it's passion. Passion is felt. It's not words. You feel it. It is words, but you can feel passion when you're talking. And there are very few commentators today, yesterday, that can accentuate and deliver the sport of boxing the way you do, Adam. So you're my man. You're the guy.
Basically, we're saying, can you come back because we need you back?
Yeah.
Can you get back because we kind of need your energy on commentary? Tunde, I want to go back, if we can, a few years, because there'll be a lot of people that maybe sort of dip their toes into boxing and don't understand the relationship between you and Anthony and how far it goes back.
Yes.
People might just see it now and think, oh, okay, Tunde's with Anthony, and they don't realise that you've had Anthony from the very, very, very beginning. And I do that because it's quite rare, because fighters leave trainers move on, everyone moves on, but you've had Anthony to the point where some people look at it as like a father-son relationship between the two of you. Although sometimes you guys joke a bit, so it's more a brother to brother sometimes.
Yes.
But father-son. Go back. When did you first spot Anthony, and how did this relationship come about?
I think I have to put on my Trevor McDonald glasses here.
Getting old.
Yeah, trust me. You know when the words start blurring, you have to draw for the glasses.
I've got something as well.
We're not trying to hide nothing around here. But I mean, listen, Anthony came about at a time when I had a packed gym. You know, going back as far as Kevin Mitchell and Harry Simons, the undefeated WBO two-weight world champion. You know, I was training these guys. At the end of his career, Harry always used to say, I wish I had you at the beginning of your career. But I was quite lucky, fortunate to be. I mean, I always tell people, Spencer Fearon, I used to train him at a time when he was at the end of his career. He was training with Adam Booth, David Hay, Danny Williams, and he actually decided to leave Adam and train with me, and that is more than a gamble for someone who I had no intentions of even becoming a professional trainer. And it was Spencer Fearon who said to me, get your license, you got something, you know. And who would have thought all these years later, managing, training, meeting wonderful people, developing young people from young stars, O'Hara Davis, Anthony Yarde, obviously still Adam Azim, Daniel Dubois, Craig Richards, all these guys have come through me, and a lot of people don't know this.
They don't.
You know, as I said, being in the corner with Danny Williams, that was great experience for me. I remember calling Don Charles to be in his first professional corner, working with me. You know, in You'll Call with a fighter called Grant Skill, and then Don repaying me the favour and putting me in a world title fight in Germany with Derek Chisora. And go look at the footage of Derek Chisora.
You were there for that one.
You'll see me in the corner. You actually see me.
Fight.
I remember. I can talk forever, but I remember in the hotel room with the late great Dean Powell. Derek Chisora summoned us to the hotel. Now this is a Thursday, and he said he called a meeting.
Yeah.
And Derek was like, yes, I've got something to say. And I'm like, all right, cool, let's go downstairs. You know, everyone's in the room, me, Francis Warren, Dean Powell. And Derek's like, there's going to be a fight. And I'm like, ain't the fight on Saturday? You know, lo and behold, get to the weigh-in, bam.
Oh, that slap.
Yep.
Yeah.
Derek, you know, I think me, Derek, Don Charles were the only black people in Germany. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, and if you watch the footage, I was off. Yeah. I was off. Me and Frank Warren was in a van at the back outside because all the commotion, obviously, with David Hay and Derek.
Yeah.
But the journey, being in a Peacock gym, the journey goes so far, and you know, it's something I've never really spoke about.
And you mentioned wonderful names there. Harry Simon, what a great fighter. Dean Powell, the late great, wonderful man in boxing. And you go right back. I remember those early days, Tunde, and how far you've come since then. And some of those fighters you mentioned, and look at them today. Look at what they're doing. It's brilliant, isn't it, Ade?
I think it's good, and that's why I wanted him to tell the story, because I don't think a lot of fight fans knew that Adam Azim came through. I think maybe O'Hara we knew about because it was quite well publicised, but they didn't know about Craig Richards. They certainly didn't know about Daniel Dubois. So you were the first trainer that trained these people that have gone on to do incredible things. Do you almost, not pat yourself on the back, but do you almost kind of sit back sometimes and think, oh, I've done quite a bit here?
Definitely, but I don't really stay to watch. My whole philosophy of boxing and life and everything I've tried to instill in the young boys and young men that I've always trained is that life is a journey.
Yeah.
And you must enjoy the moment. You ain't, you know, what's gone is gone. Just focus, continue to work on yourself. And I've always taken that philosophy into everything I do in life. People who know me from day one, I ain't changed. I've only tried to ever improve, and I feel this is where myself and Anthony Yarde gel so much. You know, there's never been a blame game. And I was always like, from the start, anyone can ask you, so many fighters, you know, a young boy who Adam remembers me with Junior Benjamin, Otu Saba.
Yeah.
You know, I used to go around doing pad exhibitions when nobody was doing Floyd Mayweather, so-called Floyd Mayweather.
I remember him going to the Mayweather gym in Vegas and doing it.
I remember me and Spencer going around with a bucket collecting coins, like leaving there. I remember we earned so much money from a Spencer Oliver and Don Charles charity boxing show. We bought Otu's mum a TV. That's how much money.
Really?
This is how
With
proud it was with the bucket money.
Wow.
And this is all love and passion. You know, we you know, I always say, and my dad has always taught me, the only thing money does is change the view outside your window. So I'm not running down money. I've never run down money. I love the sport of boxing, much like Adam and yourself and many others. It has never been yeah, we're getting this amount of money. I'm just like, you reap what you sow. And that's very important for me. And it's what I live by.
I remember the images of you training in Peacock. You've almost made them famous, those images. I drove past Peacock the other day.
Yes.
And it's closing down. It's done pretty much. That must make you sad. When you see an institution like the Peacock Gym sort of close its doors, you're like, come on, what's going on with sort of the early stages of boxing? Like, we all love the glitz and glamour, but
old school
boxing. There's another one, Newham ABC, which is near my mum's house in Plaistow. It's not. I drove to my mum's. It's no longer there. It's flats. I'm like, wow, all these small gyms closing.
Well, first of all, Tony and Martin Bowers are two guys that gave me a home when I never had a home. So I'll be forever indebted and grateful to those two men. You know, because you got to remember how I come into this sport. I come into this sport from South London. I'm a roadman, or my dad always says, stop calling yourself a roadman, because my father's educated, but we were born in the inner cities, you know, South London, born in Brixton, growing up in Dulwich, lived in Peckham, still got my flat in Peckham. I'm just a local boy, and I came into boxing, and I'm like, yeah, this sport's easy. It's fighting, isn't it? Like, anyone could do fighting. I remember I came over to East London, and I remember when I early days, Joel Catchbow, another young kid who I used to train from a baby, who's become a trainer now. And as you said, it's so wonderful. It brings a smile to my face to know that these young men who came into the gym with nothing, just they wanted to box. You know, a lot of them, most of them, I can speak for someone who I've managed and trained. Anthony Yarde has done fantastic. He's a very private man. He loves his family. But I always tell him, and I could not earn a penny from the sport, but to see you be able to provide for your mother and your family, my dad, again, God bless him, givers gain. And I've always lived by that. So it really doesn't matter what people have to say about me. Negative. If it's negative, thank you very much. If it's positive, thank you very much. The only thing with the positive things, I look at it like, don't worry, I'm going to keep working. So I'm going to keep that positive vibe going. So I just, you know, Anthony Yarde and all these guys, you know, they were, again, our stories. Anthony, I remember when he used to come to the gym, jump on the train, and his mother bought him a car. And I remember he had the car, we had to put sellotape on the key. Anthony Yarde is not pulling up in a Astra with sellotape on the key today.
100%.
And that's hard work, that's dedication, that's focus. And even if Anthony Yarde was to stop today, that guy is a role model to so many people, including myself. I tell him, he's always like, Unks, you inspire me. And I'm like, Ant, you inspire me. And that's me and Ant's journey. And it's not everyone, I don't know if I'll ever have the same relationship with a fighter as I've had and having with Anthony Yarde. But one thing I could tell you, I don't treat nobody different. I love all these guys at whatever level they are. And I will work endlessly, tirelessly to make sure I'm there to help them achieve their dreams.
Tunde Ajayi in the studio with us here on talkSPORT. We are going to talk about the aforementioned Anthony Yarde when we come back, his last performance, and what next. That's the most important thing.
The talkSPORT Superstar Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Just a reminder, I'm back with you at 6 on Monday morning in the company of Super Ali McCoy.
It's the world's best connected morning spectacular.
First and fast for football every morning on talkSPORT.
talkSPORT Superstar Breakfast.
Brilliant. Best in the business.
Oh, I believe it. Back Monday morning from 6
on talkSPORT.
Superstar Breakfast. Here we go.
Total Knockout Radio. Fight Night on talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Good evening. Good evening. You listen to Fight Night. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I was plugged out, so I do apologise to everyone that was listening. I was looking at the technician like, come on, sort it out. It was actually me.
I was looking at you thinking, what does he do?
It was actually me. We've had some incredible
I was thinking
stories.
Tunde could just carry on, so it's fine.
I wish we could have aired out what we were just speaking about there in the break, but private things shall stay private. Tunde is in studio with us. Tunde, let's jump straight into Anthony Yarde and that performance last time out against Ralph Wilkins. And the funny thing is, prior to that fight, not many people would have heard too much about Wilkins. All of a sudden now, I don't think many people are going to be booking him for fights because he was a bit of a problem. How do you look back at the fight, judge it, score it, grade it? How do you look at it?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen. If you can, and Adam is a boxing man, and so are you. If you can go back in any professional fighter's career when they hadn't had a subpar performance, I'll give you any amount of money you want.
Yeah, you're lying. Yeah.
You're lying. It's just part of the sport. The thing is that I've always said, you know, when we got into the changing rooms, everybody was saying, and Anthony was like, and Ade was like, I think it was this, I think it was that. And I was like, listen, everybody, first and foremost, we won. That's the main thing. We won. We have invaluable rounds under the belt now. And if you look at our two biggest fights prior, we had never gone into a contest with more than 3 rounds under our belt. So I'm always looking for the positives and not disregarding the quote-unquote negatives. For me, it was a good 10 rounds. There was a lot of ring rust. A lot of people are aware or are not aware of what was going on prior to the fight. We was given Ralph Wilkins on the Friday. We hadn't been preparing for Ralph Wilkins.
Sorry. On the Friday, and you fought on the Saturday?
No, the Friday before.
Week before.
Oh, okay.
So a week before.
Yeah.
And let's get the statistics right. Ralph Wilkins was just coming off a second round knockout of Isufu, who took Billy Joe Saunders the distance in a world title fight. So my confidence in Anthony was, there's no way, even a 10% AY, nobody can beat him because we're ready for the big fight. So I always look at the positives from the fight, and the positives I took from the fight was we got 10 rounds. Yes, I mean, listen, if Ant had gone in there and stopped him in the first 1 minute, what would we have heard? Another knockover job, a bum.
And it looked like he would, and you're right about a fighter who has an off night, an under par performance. We had Dillian Whyte on earlier tonight, and he was talking about, very honestly, about the Tyson Fury night on the biggest stage of all and how he just didn't really turn up.
Yes.
It must be hard, though, for Anthony, knowing that we all want him to fight Joshua Buatsi. We all want him in the big fights, and he's got to go through with this. He's just got to deal with the guy that's in front of him. It's really a no-win situation.
Absolutely. But, listen, things happen for a reason. And maybe if Joshua Buatsi was to be the next fight, maybe it's giving him a bit of confidence. So maybe we can have the fight. The thing about...
Strange how it works, isn't
it's
it?
funny. It's funny. That's why I say, the law of serendipity and just letting things happen the way they're supposed to happen. And this is why I emphasize that the most important thing on that particular night was the win. Sometimes it's about winning and then looking spectacular in your next fight. And I go back to Floyd Mayweather having probably the hardest fight of his career against Emmanuel Augustus in a 10-round slugfest to the point where his father was saying, you've never seen Floyd with a busted nose and everything. But guess what? The very next fight, he put on the performance of his career against Diego Corrales.
Yeah.
So you're going to see the same thing.
Good knowledge, Tunde.
You're going to see the same thing.
This guy really knows the sport.
You're going to see the same thing. You're going to see AY put on the performance of his career in his next fight. Why? Because mentally, for the first time in his career, he's gone 10 rounds, not with a knockout or job, a WBA ranked 15 fighter in the world who Anthony Yarde took on a week's notice and still managed to drop him in the first 10 seconds and give everybody
value for money.
Not value for money. Everybody a preamble of what is about to become. What is about to become in his next fight.
What's coming next fight, Tunde?
We're ready. We're ready.
But where are we? Where are we?
Listen, Tunde, we know we're desperate for it. And I felt like we were close to getting it a few months ago. Or am I wrong? You tell us. Were we close to getting the Yarde-Buatsi fight on?
Listen to me. Obviously, there are certain things I can't say and we have not spoken about. The fact is, we had a one-fight deal. Fantastic to box on the biggest platform on the planet, Sky Sports. And Anthony Yarde is a free agent, and we're ready, as we said way back in February. We are free to make the biggest fights. So whoever it is, Anthony Yarde himself, and I'm sure you've had people on this show before, big fighters who cannot really get up for anything other than the big fights.
Yeah.
Anthony Yarde is one of those guys. Because you got to remember, Anthony Yarde has, you've mentioned Buatsi, but Anthony Yarde has been to the summit twice.
Looked good in the summit
And
twice
looked good
as
in
well.
the summit.
Especially Kovalev.
The Kovalev walk.
His stock rose
Definitely.
both times, especially the Beterbiev fight. And you're talking about now, Anthony Yarde has lost to a 3-time Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year and an undisputed champion, and nearly had both of them out, or at least teetering and toffering in the 7th round with the Beterbiev fight and the 8th round with the Kovalev fight. So Anthony Yarde only wants big fights. And
we want that.
And we want that. And the public...
But is the Buatsi the big fight, though?
It's one of the big fights.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. Again, I'm glad you've given me this platform, because AY against, let's say, all right, let's go through some names now.
Bivol.
AY against Bivol is a massive fight.
Agreed.
AY against Beterbiev rematch is a massive fight. AY against Kovalev is a massive fight. AY against Callum Smith is a massive fight. AY against Joshua Buatsi is a massive fight. I will be ringside November the 16th to watch Chris Billam-Smith against...
Ooh, a jump to cruiserweight.
And we're ready. AY against Billam-Smith is another pay-per-view fight. So it's AY against anyone.
I'm loving this.
It's AY against anyone.
Come on, Tunde.
You can't tell me, you can't put any other fighter in the UK where you can match so many fighters and not call it a pay-per-view other than AY. So why are we running down A1? So you think because we've had one, in some people's eyes, not so good, that undervalues AY?
No, it doesn't.
Absolutely not. This guy has knocked out 24 of 26 opponents. And yes, you can say who were the opponents, but if it was so easy to knock out people in professional boxing, why has everybody not got a KO record that matches Anthony Yarde?
Okay.
That's a great couple of minutes there, that segment. Let's just snip it out and push it somewhere, maybe towards Turkey Al-Sheikh or something.
Listen,
I love the jump
our
to
friend,
cruiserweight.
wait.
I love the jump to cruiserweight.
The cruiserweight is there. Our
Because-
friend Turkey Al-Sheikh, I'm saying it here. I don't know what anyone's been telling you. I don't know what anyone's been feeding you. But we are a free team, able to sit down and talk with anybody. There is no one stopping anyone negotiate. Anthony Yarde is that guy ready to fight. And if you offer us Bivol on 3 weeks, we ain't taking it. So you can go and say we turned down Bivol. There is no elite fighter in the sport of boxing that will fight another elite fighter on 3 weeks' notice.
No, agreed.
Unless you just want a payday.
Mm-hmm.
And Anthony Yarde has always shown he's not here for a payday.
So we're saying proper notice. Any of those opponents that you've mentioned,
Anybody.
2025, Anthony Yarde is going to light up the sport.
He's ready. And you know what? It's like I always say, it's being prepared for the opportunity. And when that opportunity comes, you can't turn it down if you're a real fighter. And I want you to think about the people that want us to fight particular fighters and how many times they have been in positions where they had an opportunity to fight. Anthony Yarde had 12 amateur fights and he went to Chelyabinsk, Russia, to fight a 2-time Ring Magazine fighter. How can anyone dare question Anthony Yarde? It doesn't even... It's uncomprehendable, Adam. This young man who I have had the pleasure to navigate, choose fights, turn down fights, it's all right to talk. It's all right to have an opinion on him. That's what we want in the sport of boxing. That's what the fans want in the sport of boxing. But there can be no one that say that when they switch on that TV, Anthony Yarde, you don't get your popcorn, you don't get your big... You don't have that air of excitement that, yeah, something's going to go down.
After being ringside, and they're telling me to break, so I'll be very quick here. After being ringside and watching Beterbiev versus Bivol, and knowing that Yarde went in there with that monster, there is no one that can say Yarde is turning down any fights. I just won't accept it. I won't accept it. You can't get in with Beterbiev and turn down anyone. It's just not possible.
I love watching Anthony Yarde, and I'll forgive him the last performance.
You have to, Adam.
I'm going to forgive him.
And I was told, my lawyer told me Adam Smith was saying that. And I was like, listen, Adam is one person that can I'll let that ride. And you know what? As I said, Adam, everyone is entitled
Absolutely.
to... These are professionals.
Do you know what? You said the right thing in the changing room. He got the W. Move on.
He got the W. And to just finish off that point, boxing is a mental sport. I've come into this sport and taught every young man, Adam Azim, O'Hara, Craig, Dan Aziz, all these guys that, Denzel Bentley, all these guys that phone me up and say, Unks, what do you think? Unks, what do you think? Guys that I've never spoke about. It's a mental game. And sometimes what the fans and the people can't see is what fighters have to go through mentally before even stepping into the ring. So there's actually a fight before the fight. And I feel Anthony Yarde, what Anthony Yarde has come through in the last 8 months, is actually incredible for him to be in that ring the other day and put on a performance as he did.
Tunde, honestly, I wish I could go on for another hour here, but time is against us. Appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. We need to get to... Can we get him on again next week or something, please? Because there's more to this story. There's loads more that I want to talk about.
So good to hear from you, Tunde.
When we come back, though, we are going to talk about this week, 50 years since the greatest, I think, heavyweight fight of all time. We're going to talk Rumble in the Jungle.
1089 and 1053 medium wave. Online, on your mobile and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT. Talk Sport.
Good evening, I'm Mark Tyler. Liverpool lead the way in the Premier League after defeats for both Manchester City and Arsenal. Arne Slot saw his side come from behind to beat Brighton.
To come back in a game like that gives me a lot of confidence for the rest of the season, and it's such a long way to go against so many quality teams, but that gives me a reason to be happy tonight.
City were beaten 2-1 at Bournemouth, their first Premier League defeat of 2024. Arsenal are 7 points off the pace after losing at Newcastle, and Forest moved above them into third with a comfortable 3-0 win against West Ham. Delight for Nuno.
We are delighted with the performance that we had today. I think we managed really well the game since the beginning, controlling the danger of West Ham and being positive going forward.
Southampton are off the bottom thanks to their 1-0 victory over Everton, and Wolves' 2-2 draw with Palace. Kettering have produced the biggest shock of the FA Cup first round, scoring an extra-time winner against Northampton. Non-league Wealdstone, Oldham, Dagenham and 7th-tier Harborough are also through. In rugby's autumn internationals, late heartbreak for England at Twickenham, losing to the All Blacks 24-22. George Ford missed a drop goal to win it for England.
We were in a position to win the game, and whenever you put yourself in positions like that and don't come away with a win, then of course you're going to be disappointed. Bounce to a ball, the kick goes slightly further left, and we're talking about a very different result.
And Scotland beat Fiji at Murrayfield. Captain Liam Livingstone helped England beat the West Indies by 5 wickets in the second one-day international. He hit a career-best 124 not out, chasing down a victory target of 329 to level the series.
When I took over as captain, I wanted to try and lead from the front, and I think I've done that today. So for the young boys to win a game of cricket for England will boost their confidence massively.
The decider is in Barbados on Wednesday. It's live on talkSPORT 2.
talkSPORT News.
Kemi Badenoch says it's the most enormous honour to be named as the new leader of the Conservative Party. And police investigating historical sex offence allegations against Russell Brand have passed a file of evidence to prosecutors.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With over 600 centres across the UK, most of which open 7 days a week, we're here for every journey. QuickFit. Drive away happy every time.
Mostly cloudy through Sunday, some drizzle, but most places staying dry.
Go toe-to-toe with the biggest names in boxing. Fight Night on talkSPORT.
This is it. The time has come.
Get in the ring and go the distance with Fight Night.
He's put him down.
On talkSPORT, the home of boxing.
Good evening, this is Fight Night on talkSPORT. Ade Oladipo alongside Adam Smith. Just gone 11 o'clock. We're going to play a couple of games with you a bit later as well. Ben Shalom's spoken about a potential matchroom versus boxer 5 versus 5. We're going to pick our fights that we'd like to see if there was a matchroom versus boxer card. An MMA roundup with Vanessa D'Ambrosio. And we're going to speak to, I think, one of the hottest prospects in British boxing at the moment, young Cameron Vong. Big fight coming out for him. He takes on Gavin Gwynn. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT.
Time may have come to say goodbye to Muhammad Ali. I don't think he can beat George Foreman.
He'll be very fortunate if I don't act as an exorcist and beat the devil out of him.
I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. That's bad. You, George Foreman, all of you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him. I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Another sneaky right hand. This time he works over the shoulder of Foreman.
Taking it easy, and then suddenly the moment came.
I told you, I'm going to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. So that's what happened.
Now, there are times when the sport of boxing just annoys me so much, and in order to sort of get rid of that from my stomach, I put on old Muhammad Ali tapes and just watch him, not just fight, watch him talk, his interviews, everything about him, everything about the man. I think he was just as special as they come. He transcended the sport, transcended sport in general.
The greatest.
The greatest, yeah.
Absolutely, full stop, period.
It's that simple, isn't it?
That simple. Unbelievable what he did through his life. Phenomenal. Not just the greatest sportsman, but one of the greatest human beings, I think, of all time.
Yeah, indeed. When you go back to that fight, Rumble in the Jungle, I think sort of listeners need to understand who George Foreman was in the lead up to that fight. George Foreman,
the scariest.
We hadn't seen anything like that
Nothing
before.
like him.
40-0, I think 37 knockouts, had obliterated Ken Norton and Joe Frazier in the lead up to this fight, who were at the time the number 1 and number 2 heavyweights in the world.
Who were brilliant fighters themselves.
Incredible. Hall of Fame, greatest heavyweight discussion, both of them. And he stopped both of those in 2 rounds apiece.
Yep.
Muhammad Ali was, 32, 33 going into that fight?
Yeah, they're worried about his life. I mean, he was the most frightening guy, Foreman, and just what he did, what he dished up with a rope-a-dope, what he managed to conjure up on that magnificent night is one of the most iconic moments in sport, I think, ever, and rightfully celebrated. 50 years, incredible.
Indeed. Let's hear from legendary boxing writer Colin Hart, who joined the White and Jordan show early this week, and he gave his own memories of the big one.
Ali decided to let Foreman punch himself out on him. Now, only Ali would have been brave enough to do a thing like that, because Foreman had 40 fights, 37 of them by knockouts, and Ali decided the way to beat Foreman was not to dance, as everybody expected him to do, but to stand against the ropes and allow Foreman to punch him. Fortunately, he was clever enough to make sure Foreman didn't hit him too many times on the head. But as the fight wore on, we saw Foreman getting weaker. By the time the 8th round came, he could hardly lift his hands. And that's when Ali struck like a snake. 5-punch combination. Foreman went spinning to the canvas. It was counted out. Now, he wasn't unconscious. He was just totally and utterly exhausted.
Yeah, Colin Hart, the great Colin Hart, they're giving his own memories of what was an incredible night of boxing. And look, we've been lucky enough to have so many incredible nights since then in the sport. Not all in sort of America. Again, this one was in Africa. You think of Thriller in Manila in the Philippines. You think of what happened in Tokyo with Buster Douglas and Mike Tyson. So the floor is yours, Mr. Adam Smith. You've covered and watched thousands of fights. Which ones stand out for you, the ones that you've covered?
Wow, it's a big question. First of all, Colin Hart, one of the great guys, the great journalists, and there for most of it, and still going strong, and a good friend. Wow, in the 30 years I covered it for Sky, I would say my favourite ever was the Diego Corrales-Jose Luis Castillo first fight, toe-to-toe warfare for 9 rounds, and then Corrales goes down twice. Castillo somehow doesn't get rid of him, and then he stopped himself in that round. It was a Rocky-like fight. I think Barrera-Morales won the first fight of their trilogy. Glenn McCrory always said that was his pick. Personally, being ringside for Naz and Kevin Kelly, their 7-fight knockdown in the Garden was just one of those great memories. I think AJ Klitschko's got to be up there. 90,000 at Wembley when the two guys just dished up a heavyweight fight to savour. I just want to shout out a couple of British fights as well that people forget. My good friends Jamie Moore and Matt Macklin.
Oh, brutal.
Alex Arthur and Michael Gomez. And one that not many people remember, but it was a Derek Roach, Scott Dixon, absolute thriller for the Lonsdale belt. So they give us some of our greatest ones. But on the world stage, I think for me, Corrales-Castillo, although one of the most unbelievable moments was when Danny Williams knocked out Mark Potter with one arm with his shoulder hanging off. There's been some phenomenal moments, but Corrales-Castillo to commentate on the first fight is right up there for me in modern times.
Yeah, and when I think of the Corrales-Castillo one, just to close, I do think of sort of Goosen playing his part.
Yep.
In it. I think people almost don't remember that. It's almost like free. You can almost say Corrales-Castillo and Goosen because of Goosen's part in it as well in that fight. But
that third fight that never happened because of the weight.
Yeah.
And Corrales, we lost him. He was an amazing human being.
He certainly was. So many good fights. I know so many people are going to text in your special fights as well. Text us 81089. All right, talking about special fights, when we come back, we are going to do a Matchroom versus Boxer 5 versus 5. So many of you getting in touch as well, saying Mike McCullough has to be on it. So does Caroline Dubois. Maybe they are on the list.
Can't wait for that.